Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of XahTalk Show. You are watching. Today is 2021, and today is May 29th, and you can see my date on the upper right corner of the screen. And today, you see this taskbar on top. That's I think that's fantastic. This is about user interface design. You're wondering, the taskbar, which position is optimal as a user interface design issue. Whether, normally it's at the bottom, but you can place it on the right. For example, you right click and go to taskbar settings. Then you can choose the position. So normally is at the bottom, and you can choose on the right, or you can choose on the left. I fussed about this all the time, especially on Linux. I never came to a decision which is better. I mean, one thing for sure is that if you have, as modern days, if you have a larger monitor, wide monitor, then on the side it's not so good, because then you have to turn your head all the way all the time. But if you are on a smaller screen, on the side is optimal. Yeah, that I'm pretty sure. But now I tried, on the top, someone square root told me to try that, and I think that's pretty good. Anyway, that's good morning, Benjamin from Australia. Okay, so what are we going to talk today? It's going to be random. Okay, so random, I don't know what I'm talking about, but keep talking. That's a key to success. You don't know what you're talking about, but keep talking. Okay. When you adjust the taskbar, it screwed up your window positions. Okay. So if you have questions, post it. Okay. And ching ching, put money in my pocket. Senzhe from Taiwan. Good morning, Senzhe. And okay, so what are we going to do? So I'm thinking the first 10 minutes, let's do some random Emacs stuff, Emacs Lisp coding. Then we are going to migrate to keyboards and stuff. Okay, speaking of keyboard, you are looking at my hands. With these fingers, I'm going to rule the world. Okay, that's why I tell you to be a programmer, guys. Study programming, studying mathematics. Well, if you study math, there's not actually traditional mathematicians. They don't give a shit about coding. Okay, they think that's inferior. But these days there are a lot mathematicians, a different kind of crowd. They do proof systems programming, cog. Actually, so okay, this is wrong. Cog language. Okay, there's a language, proof assistant. This is probably the most popular programming language for doing proofs, mathematical proofs. It used to know, this kind of systems used to be known as search for automated proof systems. But it turns out after 50 years of study research that automated proof theorem provers are kind of a pipe dream. It's not possible. Lots of foundational issues. That's what's interesting about logic. The deep space of logic. So so these days all the tools are called proof assistant. Okay, I'm digressing. Okay, so anyway, so code, learn programming. Okay, that's a good thing for today and for the future as well. So what are we doing? So nothing, I don't know. Okay, so let's look at the topics. XahTalk Show topic notes. Some of the things I can, some of the things that's to do for me. Okay, so, oh, by the way, so you're looking at my keyboard. So let me show you. So this is Kinesis keyboard. This one, Kinesis Advantage 2, and this is silent red linear switch. That's fantastic. Okay, brown switch and red switch, linear switch versus tactile switch, linear is better if you have any sort of repetitive strain injury issues. Because linear switch, let me tell you, linear switch is can we put the camera more to the right? Let's see. Yeah. Anyway, let's not touch it. So linear switch makes a huge difference. Okay, because I have been using this keyboard, Kinesis Advantage 2, starting with. Okay, let's show you. Let's talk about keyboards. Okay, keyboards first up. Okay, keyboard, XAH keyboard blog, and lots of stuff. So I'm gonna talk random today. So you see Kinesis Advantage 2 keyboard, that's what I have. I've been using this keyboard since 2016. So I used, up to now for 4 and 5 years. And I still have, it turns out, not because of this keyboard, but I had repetitive strain injury issues with my left hand. So eventually, so this one I have from 2016. It was given to me by the company Kinesis for my review, and I loved it. But however, that was a brown switch, and it turns out the linear switch, the switch type makes a great difference. So this year, 2021, this year, about 3 months ago, I talked about I bought this one, $350. I bought another one, so linear red switches. So I'm going to sell my old one actually. For how much? So a new one. This new one is going to be $340. Okay, you go buy it. So I guess I'm going to sell my old one. So let me say this: if you come by, pick it up, I'll give it to you for $250. So if you are in Mountain View area, talk to me and we can do that. Yeah, $250 in perfect condition. Okay, well, I used it for 4 years, but it's still perfect. That's a brown switch. Right now I'm on red switch. Red switch is critical if you have RSI issues. Okay, so that's that. Then of course the other keyboard is Ultimate Hacking keyboard. Do I need to show it? I showed it many times. So you can see I have all the reviews on my website. And I've been working on keyboards a lot of updates. So let's go to keyboard. Okay. So any comments, questions? Why Bing? Is it good search engine? No. Because. So why am I using Bing? Let's see something. Okay. Why am I using Bing? Of course, I don't want to. Let me tell you the reason. So we, most of us use Google Chrome, Google search engine, right? So starting about 3 years ago, Google becomes an evil empire, cannot be trusted. So that's why I switched to DuckDuckGo. Okay, so for example, I have lots of browsers. So you can see if I turn off my browser, for example, search for here, Kinesis Advantage. Okay. You see, the default search engine is DuckDuckGo. Now, let's see if they show my page first. No. What the fuck? Should have. Kinesis Advantage 2 keyboard. Okay, hold on a second. My page should come up first, but okay, but since then, lots of these, these commercial entities, they do SEO scam kind of thing. Okay. What? Okay, so you see, so I use DuckDuckGo, okay, starting about 3 years ago. Copy, okay, select all, copy, Now let's search. Let's try Google. Okay, new google.com. Now on Google, my page should come up at least on the first page, I think. So anyway, DuckDuckGo is starting to suck. You know, it does not give you the best results. Anyway, DuckDuckGo is a meta engine. It actually uses Google. You know, so for example, the result here for Kinesis Advantage 2 keyboard is actually better than DuckDuckGo, I think. You know, on DuckDuckGo, you know, you have quite a few Amazon you know, pages. Okay, I'm pissed. My web page is not showing up on the first page. Advantage 2. Yeah, no. Okay, let's see next. Not on the second page too, neither. What the fuck? Okay, anyway, that's so anyway, DuckDuckGo is not that good. It's okay, but it's not that good. So since I'm using Microsoft, I'm using the Edge browser, so why not just give it a try? That is all. Okay, so what are we going to do? So let's go back to the let's go back to let me code. I want to do some coding. Okay, so let's do Emacs list first. 7 people watching. Okay, HTML YouTube Linkify. YouTube Linkify, add YouTube Linkify to XAH Emacs blog. Okay, we can do that. And what is this to do? Put to my website, add URL to talk show, XAH HTML local links to full path. Okay, so those are 2 functions. And okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not okay, yeah, so let's do some Emacs first. So let me start to read it for real. Okay, so modify XAH HTML YouTube to text, so the URL is not tu.b. Okay, no, I'm not gonna do that now. XAH HTML delete tag pair, add to web page. Okay, that we should do. Delete tag pair. Okay, so that one I want to do. Then create XAH Emacs distro. Okay, not today. I did a video 2 weeks ago about that, starting to do that. XAH HTML YouTube Linkify. Okay, add that too. Okay, so let's put all the tasks that's about putting Emacs commands to my website together. Okay, so this one, put to my website, add URL to talk show. Oh, okay, so there are 2 things. XAH HTML local links to full path, XAH HTML local links to relative path. Okay, so I can do that. Delete, do that. Okay, what's this one? Add somewhere. Rob Pike and Richard Stallman. Okay, that's a good story. Let me so you guys may want to go read it. So this is a story from Rob Pike. Rob Pike is a Unix promoter. He's a Unix fanatic. He's one of the pillar of the Unix operating system, and he is also the creator of Golang. So he wrote this is one of his blog, 2006, telling the story about an encounter with Richard Stallman. So basically, you go read it. So this is an interesting story. I wanted to put this on my Emacs blog somewhere. So this is my notes to do. Okay. You know, as you know, Richard Stallman is a Free Software Foundation fanatic. He's anti-commercialization, he's a communist, basically. So to do add somewhere, why long options start with 2 dashes? Okay, this is another good story. This one I haven't read actually, but I believe it's a good one. So this one is about, you know, how Unix shell, okay, I'm not on Linux now, so how Unix shell, you have 2 GNU versions of shell tools, bash, for example, bash and not bash, but well, yeah, bash 2, bash and Emacs, everything from the GNU project. They created 2 dash syntax for options. So this guy tells the story. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so this guy tells a story. Why do long options? You know, I have my own stories to tell. Okay, so let me show you my article first. I have to read this one though. Let's read it. So around 1990, Richard Stallman and I were writing the GNU C library GetOpt, and he wanted to extend it to support long multi-character option names for user friendlies. Okay, so this is probably a very good account because he, you know, this is from the dragon's mouth, you know, from a person involved with it in history. So he's telling you the origin, I guess. Okay, so I'm gonna. This is something I want to read, but you know, that's part of the, you know, this all this is a part of the Unix philosophy. Crap. Unix philosophy crap. Okay, so let me mention that again. Unix philosophy, the nature of Unix philosophy. Okay, so Unix philosophy, the nature of Unix philosophy, you know, it's a code, it's a garbage, it's a crap. Okay, so actually the article is not this one. It's not this one I'm looking for. I'm looking for another article. Let's find it. Okay, so that would be, let me think. Okay, hold on a second. I think since I'm not coding now, let's put the camera to my face, maybe. Okay, hold on a second. So far, so good. What are you guys doing? Okay, the Unix philosophy. So I'm trying to find an article where I discuss the Unix pipe as functional language. Okay, so once I know the topic, you can easily find it. Hacker code, and this is part of the syntax soup here. And let's turn on JavaScript, turn it on so you can see my past videos, the screenshot. So the Unix pipe dot notation, postfix notation, you know, the programming language syntax is my obsession. Unix pipe as functional language. I talked about this many times. So this article discusses the complete idiocy of the Unix shell syntax. Okay, complete idiocy. So, okay, I'm not going to go over. You can just read the article yourself. Okay, so it's extremely inconsistent. It's one fucked up, no design crap. But so over the years, so this is about the history or the evolution of the Unix shell syntax. Okay, there's actually some change. Not, there are certain changes over the past 30 years. So beginning, for example, GNU double dash syntax, 1990s, beginning around 1990s, GNU, Richard Stallman, he introduced the double dash so that you have, long option names, which is an attempt to fix the Unix crap, the Unix shell garbage. Okay, so that's 1990s. Richard Stallman tried to do that. So you might think, so back then I was very much pro Richard Stallman. I was a free software fanatic, okay, because I talked about many times. So, so double dash. So back then I believe, so since we have this double dash, Unix should let's all, hop on into this new syntax. So it's more, so you have clarity. When you read a Unix command, you don't have a bunch of garbage. You have clarity. You have a full option names. And there's a complaint by the hacker types, oh, it's too long to type. Well, the proper way to solve that is by abbreviations. So you can type something auto-completion, okay? Like auto-completion today, everyone is familiar, you guys, right? When you install Emacs, you say, oh, I need this autocomplete company mod, autocomplete. Yeah. Auto-completion, okay? Open source and Unix people, usually when there's some technology that's good, they refuse to adopt it until like 5 or 10 or 20 years later. That's the case with the auto-completion. Because they think, back then, if you mention auto-completion to the Emacs people, they'll laugh and ridicule these Emacs fuckheads. Because they think they are real programmers. You don't need auto-completion. You don't need syntax highlighting. Yes, that's true. If you are young, you don't know. Back in 1990s, when syntax highlighting was introduced by the commercial organizations, like the commercial editors, I forgot the name, Pascal and whatever, the Emacs refused it, okay? The ex-Emacs people embraced it, but Emacs refused it until after 10 years, until around 2004, 15 years, when everyone else has syntax coloring, syntax highlighting in buffer, in you know what I mean, right? After 15 years, then finally, GNU Emacs introduced syntax coloring in terminal. The scum, okay? And of course, this happens on every aspect of technological improvement. For example, Unicode. Microsoft Word, yes, Microsoft Word, the editor, the word processor, all the hackers despise, okay? Microsoft Word supports, let me show you, okay, this is a big, okay, I'm starting to get angry when I start to talk about the Unix, Linux fuckheads. Now you see this thing, let me magnify, you see this? You see this curly quote? Now that's Unicode, okay? In Emacs, you can call describe character, and you can see the full name for this character. This thing is called right double quotation mark, okay? It's curly quote in short. Now that's Unicode, okay? Now of course before Unicode, Microsoft had that even before Unicode, I believe, yes. So Microsoft Word supported curly quotes back then, in 1990s, okay? Now, when did Emacs support this? 2010, okay? 2010, not even few years ago, there's a big controversy in Emacs dev because there was a fuckhead. His name is I don't remember the name, so but idiot, okay. Anyway, let me get to the point, okay. So basically, the Emacs people, they refuse, they do not like, and also including the Unix people, they don't like the Unicode, okay. They like everything ASCII, like the Unix philosophy. They want ASCII. They don't want double byte. They don't want They just want ASCII. And so what do they do then when they need something that's actually matched quote? They do this. Okay, you see that? We will see that often. Okay, this is what you see in GNU in Emacs, this function docs. Okay, this kind of the backtick, a hack. So anyway, let me get to the point. Okay, let's go to Emacs. Let me show you the article. I believe I have an article on that. Let's go to Emacs. So that go to Emacs homepage. Then you go to Emacs miscellaneous. Then you have then let's turn on JavaScript so you can see my beautiful face. Then you go to the crimes of Richard Stallman. Okay, here's a collection of what he's done. So now search for quote. There it is. Okay, Emacs list doc string curly quote controversy. Every year or two on the Emacs list dev, there's a huge controversy because whenever someone mentions some user interface change, then everyone, it's like a big controversy. Everyone is like talking hundreds, thousands of posts debating about it. So basically, the short story of this story is that in 2015, okay, someone suggested, okay, was it 2015 also? Okay, read my article. Someone suggested that you should finally have the support for double quote. So basically like this, okay. So let me show you so instead of, if you look up function, let's say diode, okay. So here is the Emacs describe function. You see the Emacs documentation. You see the curly quote here. Single curly quote. Okay, this is a feature added about what? Hold on a second. Let me go back here. Added around 2015. Okay, now you finally have it. Microsoft had this feature back in 1990s. After 10 years, all the arguments debate by these hackers. Oh no, we don't want Unicode. Code should not have these kind of characters. You cannot type it and so on. Blah 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 blah. These fucking idiots. So in my last few videos, some people ask why do you hate Unix so much? They don't get it. Like all the reasons, I give you concrete, actual reasons why Unix sucks so bad, and you are living under a lie. But then the Unix idiots, the Unix, Linux, open source fanatics, they hear it, they don't get it, they don't fly by. All they see is that, hey Xah, why are you crazy? Oh my God, why are you hate Linux so much? If someone lied to you, and let's say your parent died because someone lied to you, are you angry? Do you say, why are you angry? Just because someone killed your parents. Why are you angry? Oh my God, must be something wrong. That's what these Linux hackers, open source fanatics, Emacs fanatics, they are like. When you tell them, you give concrete reasons, so many reasons. Okay, right now I'm telling you one very concrete reason. Okay, the reason the situation, the case is that you have curly quotes, okay? You have Unicode characters, not just curly quote. For example, hot, okay? Let's not say hot. For example, red arrow. That's a very useful character. That's a progress. Unicode is one of the progress of technology. We need it. In mathematicians, mathematics, you need that, okay? You need, for example, do you need that character? If you are a functional programmer, if you are learning Haskell, yes, of course you need it. And if you are Emacs list coder. But however, so back in 1990s, okay, Microsoft because they are commercial entities, they don't have this code issue. All they are concerned is money. Okay, do people need this feature? Yes, they do. Okay, we need to have that feature so that we can make more money. People will buy Microsoft Word and so on. That's how Apple, Microsoft, all the commercial organizations are like that. They go after money. They chase money. And money, how do you get money? Well, most fundamentally, because when people like your things, you fulfill a need, what customers want. So that's a curly quote. So Microsoft Word supported that, in the 1990s. Microsoft operating system and Mac OS supported, even before the Unicode. Unicode, I have so many things to say. The Unicode Consortium, that is an organization that began Unicode back in 1989 also, but it wasn't so popular back then. Their vision is that one encoding for all humanities writing systems, characters. But anyway, so my point is that Apple, Microsoft Word, Apple operating system, Microsoft operating system, they all tried, at least, they may not have implemented it well, but they all tried, to some degree, you can have this kind of thing. Curly quotes, and, so in 1990s, they have that, and Emacs, and including Unix people, Linux, okay, they refuse, these hacker types. They don't want this. They think, when they see this, they think, oh, that's just for stupid people. Oh, we are real programmers. We don't want this fluff. We don't want this icing on the cake. This is not important. These fuckheads. Do you get my point? If you are a Unix fan, do I have a point? There's a technology feature. There's a technology that humanity need. Okay, curly quote, that are implemented in commercial software all over the place. But when it comes to open source kind of thing, this hacker type, the things they love, they don't support that. They have a kind of inherent kind of the resistance to it. It is idiots. That's why I call them idiots. That's why I despise them. So after, typically after 10, usually 10, 5, 10, 15 years, then they started to that. So this is one concrete example why I despise these hacker types, okay? Because they believe something that's not true. There are so many, if you watch, I'm sure many of you have watched lots of my videos, okay? This is just one of the examples. I have so many, almost every one of my videos, I talked about so many different concrete issues, okay? Now, if you are a Unix fanatics, tell me, which part was I wrong? Okay, which part? Is it true that Emacs does not support this? After 15 years, it was supported by Microsoft Word. Is that true? Is that true that this incident, I wrote about this article, this incident, okay, I have so many things to tell, so it's kind of jumbled up. So this occurred in 2015 or so. Someone suggested, Emacs should support the double curly quote. Why? There are good technical reasons too, not just prettiness, okay? Because when you have double curly quote, you have a matched pair, okay? Just like parentheses, just like list parentheses. Imagine if you replace all list parentheses by this this ugly hack. That's what Emacs does, and the tech and LaTeX, they use this kind of crap, as a hack to get over the double curly quote, hack. That's what they are. Unix and these hacker types. Their brain is incapable to perceive something a good design. They like hacks. That's what they are. So in around 2015, someone suggested, I forgot who, okay, I forgot how it began, okay, but anyway, you read the article. I have full quotes, and you can also, I have quotes and links to the dev, GNU Emacs dev article, so it became a flame war, with how many messages, okay. So this guy author Malababa, he's a well-known Emacs coder, Emacs coder. He tweeted, I just made a rough count. The curly quotes issue has generated over 100,000 words on the Emacs dev list. That's 3 times my doctoral thesis. 100,000 words. People, these hacker debate. Oh, we should have curly quote. No, we shouldn't. And there is that one of the guy who was an extreme idiot from Germany. I know him because we have, let me. Paul Eggert is a great guy. Okay, Paul Eggert, he's a great guy. He is the one who actually coded the support for curly quotes. Okay, guys, if you are using Emacs, go thank him, Paul Eggert. Thank him right now. He's the old, coder. Emacs code. He's a guy who made a change. But however, there's another guy who fucked it up. Okay, but this guy, what's his name? Because we have Alan Mackenzie, this idiot, Alan Mackenzie. Okay, he is of course he's another Emacs developer. He's the CC mod maintainer. Okay, in Emacs, CC mod, major mod maintainer. He's also an Emacs developer for a long time, for 10 years or so. But this guy, Alan Mackenzie, he's always, whenever there is some suggestion to change Emacs for the better related to user interface, Alan Mackenzie will shut it down. He will shut it down. He will, do all things he can to not have that feature, to let Emacs be the way it is in the 1990s. This idiot, Alan Mackenzie. Okay, so someone started to work on this, and Paul Eggert eventually made all the changes, implementation, code, to support the curly quote. Then comes the Alan Mackenzie. He says, no, we shouldn't have that. Okay, then that's the beginning of the flame war. 100,000 words. Okay, I don't know how many messages. How many messages are there? Hundreds. Okay. So what's my point? So I want to say, so Alan Mackenzie, he's the one who began to turn everything down because it's already done. The great guy Paul Eggert already made the changes. Then pops up Alan Mackenzie. He insists that you should not support the way it does. He suggests instead that you should have a markup. The fucking Alan, fuck. He suggested you should, in Emacs code, you should use this markup. Then you should have another mechanism that turns this markup into the curly version. Okay, because his reason is that, because the curly quote is not on keyboard, we cannot type it. Fucking idiot. So he basically single-handedly made Emacs worse. Okay, the change is already done. It's already committed. Eventually, the Paul Eggert had to revert his commit. Okay, now, but who makes the final decision? Okay, who makes the final decision? The flame war. 1,000 messages. It's a Richard Stallman fuckhead. Here is a fuckhead. Crime done by the Richard Stallman fuckhead. So Richard Stallman, he is not the maintainer. Okay, he is not the leader of the Emacs at the time. In 2015, every few years, Emacs dev, there's a new leader, so-called, it's known as a maintainer, okay? The role of the maintainer officially, according to Richard Stallman, should be the person who leads, who decides all technical decisions of Emacs, So right now, the current maintainer is, I forgot, I'm not good with names. So who is the current maintainer? The Steve, I don't remember now. Who is the current maintainer? You guys know, okay? So it's very well known, okay? I have to think. I don't remember. Anyway, I'm focused on my rant right now. So basically, according to the official the way of how Emacs Dev works, the maintainer should be responsible to decide all the technical issues of Emacs. He lead the Emacs Dev team, except when the issue has to do with political or social issues, such as licensing or related to Free Software Foundation's vision. When some issue that's related to social issues or political issues, then Richard Stallman has the ultimate say on what it should be. Okay, but in this case, the curly quote, how we should support curly quote, has nothing to do with Richard Stallman Free Software Foundation, philosophy, nothing. It's a purely technical issue. But however, in the end, the fucking fuckhead Richard Stallman comes in and says, please stop inserting curly quotes into doc strings in Emacs sources. Yeah. So Richard Stallman, he sits in the dev, he look at, he haven't been coding for 20 years. He just sit there and, and look and sometimes post his opinions. He doesn't use a browser. He doesn't know he doesn't know nothing. He doesn't, he uses the browser service to, anyway, that's a well-known story. I think I don't need to talk about that. So anyway, he sits there and he watch, he casually watch the people argue. Then he just say at the end, please stop inserting curly quotes into doc strings in Emacs source. And that's the end. Okay. So after that, then Paul Eggert, he basically reverted all his change. That's the end. The guy, the boss, the god has made his opinions known. Fuck Richard Stallman. That's a crime, okay? He does not have the right. Richard Stallman do not have the right. He's not the maintainer at the time. Not here. He haven't been, he's not the maintainer. He does not have the right to give the ultimate decision what Emacs should do when the issue is not political or social issues. But he just sit there and he voice opinions. Oh, I think this way, I think that way. So effectively, he's telling people what to do. Because he's the guru there. He's the creator of the Free Software Foundation, creator of Emacs. So people cannot say anything else. If he said that, then that's just that. Just like in my Discord forum, I'm the boss. I have the final say. Okay, that's an issue. So, and perhaps that's it for today. I haven't talked about this issue before. So but let me show you an article. Okay, so okay. Here's an article I wrote. This is about punctuation. So part of in the field of linguistics and writing systems, writing systems, code, programming language is actually part of it. You can consider it as a writing system for communication with a machine. Programming languages. Okay. So this article is in the field of linguistics and writing systems, writing system design. But specifically, it's about typography, hyphen, dash, quotation marks, and apostrophe. Okay, so this one is written in 2007, and you can go read it. But I want to go to the last part. So I showed you, for example, some varieties of matching quotes used by different Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and also other Western languages. It's quite bizarre. Okay. For example, in Swedish language, Finnish, you use the matching, you use the right curly quotes to quote, and in German, Bulgarian, and Croatian, and blah, 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 Estonian, you use this weird, way. Bizarre. Okay. So, but anyway, so then you explore the combinatorial possibilities. So So I discussed several related issues. Okay, then comes the curly quote versus straight quote. Okay, then it relates to how the English grammar of the use of apostrophe. Okay, that's another story about apostrophe and possessives, the possessive form. As Mary's car, James' car, things like possessive involving apostrophe is very illogical and bizarre. Okay, but then comes I have a section about GNU. That's why I'm bringing up this article. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so there it is. Problem of the matching straight quotation marks. Okay, so here, in particular, this style, using the backtick with a straight single quote, this style is adopted by the Free Software Foundation in their GNU project. Okay, although this workaround solves a syntactical ambiguity problem, I think it is rather unnecessary and ugly. For a workaround with the constraint of ASCII for a matching quote, I would have adopted something more symmetric, such as parentheses and the single quote. Okay, or curly bracket with a single quote. So I would adopt these instead. If you have, it's understandable. Technology is not always perfect, so we evolve. Unicode was not invented 30 or 40 years ago. So when you don't have the curly quote, what can you do? If you need a character that actually is a matching pair is significant in parsing, in programming languages, in computing, because it's a simple way to know which part matches which part. So that's why it's important. For example, when you have a array, array in Python, Perl, in Ruby, in almost every language, in C, array, you have a square bracket, right? That's a matching pair. That's called match fix operator. Imagine if you're gonna use imagine if you're gonna use a hack such as the GNU, the backtick for that. That's that's no good, right? So then I continue. But the problem with the GNU is that even today in 2007, where curly quotes have been widely available in word processors for over a decade, and Unicode have been practical and widely available for at least 5 years, the GNU are still using plain ASCII hacks. Okay, then parenthetical comment. In general, GNU and the open source morons have like a 5 to 10 years lag in adopting technology for reasons that are inadvertently intentional and or simply incapable. So that's my remark about the hacker types, and typically the associated with Unix, Linux, and these days open source. These, and also usually C programmers, these idiots. That concludes today's talk show, I guess. But imagine why these people, how does their brain work? How can they not see, something that's better? And also, in another sense, their view is very limited. They like ASCII, like the Unix. They like the ASCII characters because it's simple. But the world is not just English speakers. Okay, you got that. The world. There's Indian, Chinese, Russian. Okay, they don't. The ASCII character set cannot be used for those languages, and there's no more of them than English speakers. So you want to stick to ASCII. What the fuck is your problem? Okay, that's my rant against these Unix hackers. Again, another day, that's my rant against Unix hackers. I think that's it for today. Thank you for watching. 54 minutes. Okay, let's read the comments. Oh, hey, Emily. Okay. Oh my God, Emily is watching. Emily is the most polite and nice person. And I've been fuck this and fuck that. All this. Wow. Hi, Justin Jones. Haskell Coder, Emily, and Benjamin. First Unicode implementation was for Plan 9. Oh, is that true? Oh, okay, I don't know. I didn't know. So Benjamin says, what are you using to type Unicode? How do you make the text hard? Okay, that's I'm using my packages. Okay, so you can go to so for example, to type hard, I can type that and press a key, then becomes that. Or I can type that. Okay, let's for example, let me show you some of my Unicode typing systems. Okay, in fact, I have so many articles about that. I have 3 or 4 about on the practical issue of how do you type Unicode in Emacs. So let me show you a few. Okay, let me show you a few. So copy that, paste it here. So for example, each one of these, I can press a key. Then this one too, press a key. And this one, I don't even have to press that key, but I just press a space. Okay, so how is that done? So the question is, how do you type Unicode characters, any emoji or any math symbols, in the most efficient way? That's a key point. What's the most efficient way? Because there are many ways. What is the most efficient way? So the most efficient way is abbrev. Okay. So you go to my abbrev, so I can show you. So search for RA. So you can see here this section. Okay. So this is some of my Unicode abbrev. Okay. BU. Okay. LA left arrow. Oh, okay. Well, that's because I'm in Emacs Lisp. Okay, so let me do it here. So you see BU, left arrow, UA, up arrow, right arrow. Right arrow I use all the time. So this is the most efficient way to type Unicode in Emacs. Okay, do it. So if you don't know how to do it, just go search for XAH Emacs abbrev. Okay, just go read it. So actually go read this one instead. So I have full detailed explanation on how do you set it up. Very easy. In 2 minutes you'll be ready, good to go. Now, however, there is a flaw with this way of typing Unicode. There's a flaw. What's the flaw? That is when you have few hundred Unicode characters you need to type. Okay. If you have few hundred Unicode characters, you cannot possibly remember their abbrev names. For example, many of these I don't use much now because I don't remember the abbrev names. So when that is the case, you use the other mod. Okay, so let me show you the mod. Okay, so okay, describe key. So here is the mod, XAH math input change symbol. Okay, so that is the mod. So you go to, here's the code, you go to it. Okay, so you go to it, magnify, go to the top. So you can see XAH math input.el. So that's the mod. Okay, you can download it. It's on Melpa. And let's go to the home page. So this one is useful when you have few hundred abrevs. So for 10 or so abrevs that Unicode that you type the most often, that every day, a few times a day, then you want to use abbrev. But otherwise, this you might use check out XAH math input mod. Okay. Okay, I think that's it. So thank you guys for watching. This is good history lesson. I always wondered why Emacs use strange quotes. Okay, red Firefox theme. It's not Firefox. It's a Microsoft Edge. Okay, so it turns out today is a giant ramble about the Unicode issue. Okay, that's today's topic. So and you know, if you enjoy my stuff, don't forget donate to me. Okay. You know, YouTube, PayPal. You can buy my Emacs tutorial, or you can PayPal me, or Patreon me, or Amazon gift card. Okay, so you can find my links, you know, on XahTV.info. What else? I think that's it for today. How many people are watching? Let's see. 16 concurrent viewers. Okay, I think 11. Okay, so that's it for today. Anything else? Anything else, guys? Okay, so yeah, that's it. Let me see what else I'm gonna ramble for 2 more minutes or so. Let's see. So close that. So actually, copy that, close that, go to talk show, shrink the window, show the pink window, and go to talk show, today's talk show, and paste it here. Okay, and make it the text. Okay, then. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna shut down. Okay, copy that, go back here. I'm just gonna type what we typed today, close that, back, math input mod. We already have that, close that. Abbrev, okay, Abbrev mod, go learn it if you haven't already. Close that. And this article, the moronicities, okay, close that. Oh, and that's that. And Emacs list block string curly quote controversy, yeah. Okay, close that, close that, close that, close that, close that. And Unix pipe as functional language. Okay, that's the beginning of our chat. Close that. Syntax soup, hacker code, voodoos of software engineering. That's right. That's another different group, different you know, that you know, the voodoos of software engineering. That's those agile people, kind of very different from the Unix crackpots. The nature of Unix philosophy. Okay, that's not it. Close that. Oh, okay. So let me show you some of my Unicode page. Okay, Unicode. So you go to XAH Unicode, and someone mentioned fuzzing. Fuzzing says, you know, apostrophe. You know, actually, I can talk about that. You know, all these apostrophes and punctuations for another hour. That's another interesting topic, you know, because so the topic is about the semantic of characters. What do they mean? For example, let's look at the punctuation. Okay, so Unicode actually have a dedicated symbol for, you know, the foot sign, or minute and seconds of a, you know, time. So by tradition, so, you know, Unicode has a prime. Okay, so then you also have prime, which is used for derivative. For example, the single prime, this character single prime, is used for feet. Was it feet or foot? And it's also used for derivative in mathematics. Okay, then it's also, you know, then sometimes it can use for apostrophe, because all these symbols look similar. Okay, then you have double prime. Double prime is for feet, right? Yeah. So there's a question, you know. So which one should you use? Normally, you know, see, you see, before computing era, before we actually have computers, then we start to need character set and encoding. Before computers, we don't have this notion. You don't really have a notion of encoding, and you do have a notion of a character set, which is, for example, English alphabet, Latin alphabet, A to Z, and some punctuations. But it's different from the character set concept in computing, because in computing, a character set is actually must be very specific and and almost always come with an encoding that transforms the character to binary digits, to a number basically. So anyway, before computers, all we do is write. We write without pen. So when we have for example, apostrophe or a footmark or a quote, you don't need to fuss about which one of these characters are. All you have to do is just strike it, just write it. Okay, that's with writing. Okay, that's before, let's say that's before printing. You might use some tool, to etch on the stone, or you might use a brush like the Chinese do. You use a brush, or you might use a quill, as the Western people quill. All the characters or letters, you just write it. So you have really no concern about what's the exact difference between a prime character versus apostrophe versus a curly, Armenian apostrophe, or Latin capital letters saltillo, Latin small letters saltillo. Okay, so all these variations. And look at the dash. Okay, there's more for the dash. So you have hyphen minus, you have hyphen, you have non-breaking hyphen, you have en dash, you have figure dash, you have em dash, then you have horizontal bar. It's fucking all the same, almost, except some are longer, some are shorter. So before computers, before printing era, you don't have those, these distinctions. You just write, or whatever tool, you just write it. But with printing, the technology of printing press, it started to become an issue because you need a specific metal shape to print certain characters. So there became a distinction of which characters is a prime and which character is a straight apostrophe, because you have to pick the different what is that called? Okay, so let's go to Wikipedia. Let's look at some of the here. Okay, so you can see you need to use this thing, these little metal things. You put them together, then you can print them. So it makes a difference between of what characters, and also then there's a concept of font, font face. And then when it comes to computers, you also have to make a distinction too, because different characters, although they look the same, although they look almost the same depending on what font or what monitor are you using, but internally the binary representation is different. So that's very interesting. And so then comes the question, for example, when you are using computers to write stuff, what characters should, which one of these characters should have what meaning, so it becomes kind of a issue. Anyway, okay, that's it. MR22B, can you suggest a mathematics roadmap? I talked about math in my in the past 2 months, so check those. Did you watch my videos in the past 2 months, especially the ones I talk about Mathematica, especially the one I talk about algorithmic mathematical art? So because there are people, I don't know if it's you or not, there have been people asking me about how I study math, or what do I suggest. I talked a little bit about that. Unless you have specific questions, like you have to describe, are you 16? Are you 25? How old are you? Have you already finished high school? Or are you currently in college? What's your situation? Are you already studying? Are you a math major? Or maybe you are not. Maybe you are just a carpenter, but you are interested in self-study of math. So different people have different, I would have different advices. Bye, guys. Donate, okay? Put money in my pocket.